I can't find my sticker book, which is making me sad.
Oh, well, I hope you find it.
Yeah, it has all my. I have more stickers I need to add to my sticker book.
Ah, fair enough. What are they stickers of?
The ones that I currently need to add.
Yeah,
There is stand with your community.
I like it.
And it says dropout up here, and I think that's for dungeon dropouts. The
Mm,
channel.
yeah,
No kings
yeah, we like.
and critical failure.
Nice.
They're very adorable. I think I won them in a raffle.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I need to find my sticker book that is full of stickers. A
Well,
lot
one
of
day.
goose stickers.
So one day we can, you can show us your sticker book with
Yeah,
all
my
your
full
stickers.
sticker book.
And if you at home want to kind of see that, then follow the channel, give us a like, give us a subscribe, tell your friends about us, and, you know, get ready for Zoop's sticker book.
Yeah. Send me stickers and I will
Hey,
stick them in my sticker book.
this is a much more wholesome sort of intro than the last episode.
I can do get yourself a girl who can do both, wholesome and also super filthy.
Yeah, wholesome and pegging. All right, so this episode we kind of decided we were going to kind of talk about the society of this world, this world that we're building, which is essentially everything's going to be taking place in the orbit of Jupiter across those moons, where we have the society is divided into essentially the haves and the have-nots. Um, the name that we landed on, which I really enjoyed, was the Hitchers, which are going to be more kind of the player characters, I would have assumed.
Yeah.
Um, they are a group of people who, when they were a group of people, a subset of the population who, when left to their own devices, when the elite left Earth, due to an impending cataclysm, they kind of got together and managed to jettison part of the Earth out towards the orbit of Jupiter. And what we're going to kind of focus on today, obviously, I will be kind of making notes of all this and we'll recap at some point. But today we're going to kind of focus on the society because there was a bit of discussion at the end of the last episode about how many people should go. And I've done the math. Okay. So, the most populated, the most densely populated places on Earth have a population of about 45,000 per square kilometer. Right? The tectonic plate that we said was getting jettisons is 250,000 square kilometers. We multiply those together, and that is 11 billion. So it does stand to reason we could have like a 1.5 close to 2 billion people in that area, in sort of like these mega cities.
They would have to be mega cities,
Yeah.
because we need farmland.
Yeah.
We still need a way to like feed said population. Also, I was wondering, are there any restrictions on procreation because there's such limited land?
I think there may have to be. I think that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's something that, because it's only kind of been 20 years.
Yeah, it's been 10 or 20 years. I think the thing is that a lot of the infrastructure is going to be trash,
Gone.
right?
Yeah.
So like I think that there is going to be a lot of death to begin with.
I do too.
And
I agree wholeheartedly. And for that matter, what do they do with their dead? Is this like a Silent Green situation?
Oh, okay. These are the questions we need to be asking.
Do the dead get turned into fertilizer?
Okay, so
like what happens to the dead? You learn a lot about a society by how they treat their dead.
I think that would be, I mean, recycling would definitely
Well, it would
be
have to. But
would
like,
it would definitely be something that would have to be agreed upon.
How long do you think it would take for them
adapt.
to come to terms with the fact that they have to recycle?
Maybe all these things like the recycling, the lowered sort of birth rate, maybe these are things that made a lot of people not want to go. So out of the 9
Yeah,
million
you'd have to
people,
very strictly
if
adhere to these rules.
only like 1.7 billion people have gone, maybe part of the reason why a lot of the people turned it down was, no, we don't want to recycle our deceased. We don't want to have these limitations on
Well,
procreation.
it wouldn't just be the deceased, it would be everything. Literally everything would have to be recycled.
Yeah.
So, like,
I
your
mean, I
waste
think
would have to be recycled. Maybe that's how they created the kudzu people.
no, because the kudzu people were created by the Celestials, the Celestial Order.
Celestial Order. Okay. I think I like that.
Um,
Okay. So, yeah. So, everything, because waste is a thing, but everything would be recycled. But that, there's a lot of things that can be recycled in order to kind of preserve. And especially if you're talking about close to 2 billion people in a small space, then recycling is a must. So maybe that was the catch. Maybe it was, okay, we've got a plan. But
Yeah, 'cause it's like even water would have to be recycled. So water would have to be cleaned and recycled, and that includes like human wastewater.
Yeah.
So not just gray water, but like urine and stuff like that would all have to be recycled back into like drinking water or cleaning water or something of that nature.
Okay, so we definitely need some recycling plants. I think obviously everyone would have to be vegetarian. I think vegetarian, unless it's like synthetic printed meats and stuff like that. I've tried it. Wasn't great.
It's not great. I would like to believe that between now and then we would at least perfect that technology, but who's to say? I do love the idea that the celestial class would have like real meat.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because they're fucking bougie.
And they have essentially planets. Because, the moons of Jupiter, some of them are as big as the Earth. They can do that. But these megacities, they're very limited. So they'd have to be recycling plants. They'd have to be growing plants. Like vegetation plants sort of thing.
Well, we'd also, since there would still be sea water, like ocean water, they would probably plant like seaweed, because seaweed is the largest producer of oxygen. Fun fact.
So I imagine like a portion of the sea was kind of walled off to make a reservoir.
Yeah, that's wild. Did they keep any? Okay, here's the other question. What about dogs, cats, animals? Do we have those? Did we keep them?
Yeah, I think so.
How about no, but people smuggled?
I love that.
I mean, they couldn't have gotten rid of they had to have kept some forests, some,
and like you definitely would have had to keep insects. Insects are really important. As much as people don't like them, insects are super important.
And then if you have insects, you need the things that eat insects.
Yep, or else you're going to have a population problem.
And then you need the things that eat insects.
So there are farms.
That would be the only way to be able to do it. Like, we would need bees for pollination.
Okay, so there are farms.
There's a lot to think about.
Because my mind is kind of invoking, what's the city called? I think it's out of the Matrix trilogy, Zion.
Ooh, yeah.
Where everything, it's not necessarily synthetic, but everything is grown. So everything is farmed, but it's within sort
Mhm.
of like massive sort of greenhouses.
Mhm.
And I assume if they do have animal life, it would be a similar sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel like in this instance, animals would be rather protected and taken care of because they would be such a vital part of the system. Have you all ever read a book? Fuck, what the hell's the first book called? Leviathan. Are you all okay? Leviathan is actually, I discovered it because I got really into biopunk for a while, which is splicing animals with other animals to create new animals that are hyper specific for things. It's really cool. Zoop, you would fucking love it.
Oh, I'm sure I would love it, but
You would
you know,
absolutely love
the
it.
joke, the joke of like, what happens when you cross a monkey with a crab? You get a
Yeah.
call from the ethics department.
Mm-hmm. Kind of. So like in the book, the creature, a leviathan, is actually a hydrogen animal, like a hydrogen air whale, that has its own internal ecosystem. And the reason I bring it up is because there is a part where they actually have to go into its essential lungs, which is where all of the beehives are kept, and they actually have to harvest honey because honey is an antimicrobial. Honey is a sweetener. Honey is used for literally fucking everything.
I think you can
So
put it on wounds too.
you can, because it's
On
an
burns and
antimicrobial.
stuff, yeah.
Like if you have a sore throat, a tablespoon of honey every night will end up eating the bacteria in the throat. But like it talks about how this animal has become its own ecosystem, and the people who exist on it are just part of that ecosystem.
Okay.
It's really interesting. It's such a cool read. I recommend the series.
But now, so what I just realized is that there are going to be people, right? There are going to be people who 100% believe that this thing is going to get jettisoned into space and the rest of Earth is going to be destroyed. And they are going to think that they need to make an ark.
Yes.
What I mean is that there's going to be a subset of people who are like, no, we can't save every animal on the planet, and there's going to people who are going to be like, I'm smuggling in the kangaroos, we can't lose the kangaroos.
Yep.
Embryos.
Ooh, well that so like the Camino cloners. Sorry, I've been watching Clone Wars again. I imagine having like stores and stores and stores and stores of different types of DNA, because we would have to have cloning technology at this point.
Yeah.
And if we don't, I'm writing it in. We have cloning technology now.
So that's it. Instead of bringing the animals, they bring the DNA.
DNA of animals.
So then you don't have to worry about the animals for 20 years, but once we're in orbit, then we can kind of figure out what to do next. But we have the ability. We can recreate life on Earth. We just need to figure out how to get that from the Celestials. We need to figure out how to terraform this technology that they have. We need.
And of course, the people were just brought for the Celestials to do whatever they want to fucking do, right? Am I understanding this correctly? So, like, the Celestials are off terraforming their own new place.
Yeah.
And, like, the rest of us non-selected people are just kind of, like, floating on our little Earth planets. Okay.
We're not meant to be there.
Yeah, they didn't expect us to be there.
But we're there because we're there? Or because humans as a whole heard about this cockamamie plan and said, "No, that we're gonna fix it."
Well, so the elites left, the elites were like, they left and they headed to Jupiter, and then like the remaining people, they're still, because the elites, they're not going to take all the scientists and everything, so the scientists are still there. They realize that the asteroid is coming, so they start building this plan.
Yeah, so the elites go. The elites kind of left the rest of the world to die.
Mm-hmm.
And it was then that people went, oh shit, we need to do something. And they came up with this plan. Now, the plan isn't well received. It's, well, you know, I think we rolled for it. 1.7 billion people kind of go, all right, we're on board. We'll make the necessary sacrifices. We will, you know, plan to live for 20 years in the vacuum of space, eating rations effectively. And then the rest of the population kind of went, no. You know, if this is where it ends, this is where it ends. Whether it's an ideological point of view, whether it's a fear, or whether it's a denial point of view.
I think so many people are going to deny it. Just think about all the people who deny global warming. If you're like, an asteroid is coming for Earth, no one's going to believe it.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, and then
Misfit's like, stop reminding me that terrible people exist.
The amount, you don't understand. I've been screaming about global warming since I was a fucking child, because I was raised in like a, hey, we should respect and love our world household. And
Yeah.
I'm like, hey y'all, so this is getting real bad. Hey, this is getting really fucking bad. Hey, I really need, okay, we're gonna start seeing weather refugees now because things are getting really fucking bad and no one wants to pay attention. Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah.
Makes me crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, they got to survive for 20 years. Once they get into that orbit, then they can try and figure out what to do next. But and that could be, that could sort of be the catalyst for the scarcity. This megacity that was only meant to keep them alive for 20 years is now having to keep them alive longer because they don't have the resources to basically create a habitable planet.
So I do think, you know, like the majority of the people there, they're just trying to survive, right? So, you know, the player characters are going to be like particularly talented people in some way or another. I think one of the things that there would have to be, I think they're going to call them puddle jumpers, but they're going to have to be short range spacecrafts that they plan on using to jump from moon to moon, and that they use to infiltrate the Celestials. And like, I just imagine after 20 years and they're in orbit and they have to go down to the bunker where they've held these puddle jumpers and pull off the, you know, the drop cloths over them. It's like filled with dust. They pull it off. There are the puddle jumpers. Will they still work? It's been 20 years.
Yeah, I'm writing all that down. I like the puddle jumpers ideas. So yeah, so we've got this now society that has, you know, reached its orbit after 20 years. They then realize that they're not necessarily welcome, that the Celestial do not want to share their resources, so they have to steal it. And it is, I'm thinking, very much a sort of cyberpunk society.
What are you thinking, Misfit? You have some thoughts.
I do, but none of them are like, they're just percolating at the moment.
Okay.
They're not like solid thoughts. I do agree that this would create a new class of person, i.e., it would probably create like essentially pirates. But there's also that part of my brain that's like, okay, but at some point these celestial people are going to have to realize that they can't necessarily do it all by themselves.
In what way?
Like, if they didn't keep all of the smartest people, they're dumb. Like, if the Celestials didn't keep all of the top engineers, the top scientists, the top everything, they're idiots. Like, and I'm okay with saying that they're idiots. I'm super comfortable with saying that because they sound like idiots. But
I mean, so I made a post on Threads saying an AP about the elite who have escaped Earth in a spaceship and then realized they have to create a new social order among themselves because they realize they haven't brought anyone to serve them. Specifically who's going to clean the bathroom. And someone pointed out, well, they would have planned on having AI. So the idea is that they would have had planned on having AI and robots to serve them, and then those would break down, and that's when they would have to start figuring out what the social order is. But I think that given
They
that,
would
I
need-
think the elite would have had AI, computers, all of those things sustaining them, like doing all the intelligent thinking for them, and then the kudzu people to actually do the work.
So yeah, we're just making the worst sort of type of people.
It has
just
to be.
sounds like they're not going to last. Is really what it is. So like the people on the chunk of Earth could just start a war of attrition.
But do they have the resources? Because bear in mind, geographically, it's a very, very small rock in comparison to an Earth-sized moon, which has been terraformed, so...
I mean, if everyone sticks to the rules, which we know not everybody is going to stick to the rules.
No.
But if the majority of people stick to the rules, I do think that they could probably outlast a group of sycophants and, sociopaths.
Maybe that's
but no one's going to stick to the rules.
And perhaps because these Celestials realize that they cannot get rid of the Hitchers, that's when their influence starts happening. You go into a poor place and you throw some money around.
They make themselves some gods.
You create a hierarchy. So,
okay, so Europa is about 1/4 the diameter of Earth.
Is it Ganymede then that's the largest? I don't know what the largest moons of Jupiter. I think because I do remember seeing that there was.
It is Ganymede.
Look at me, all intelligent and whatnot. You
It
don't
is
see it
the
often.
9th largest object in the solar system.
It's huge. It is. The only reason I don't know why it isn't a planet and a moon. I think it's because it is in Jupiter's orbit.
it orbits Jupiter, not
But yeah, Ganymede is composed of silicate rock and water. So I mean, they could have populated Ganymede. But anyway, so that could be it. But yeah, so if all of a sudden these Hitchers appear, then the elites would rather control as opposed to destroy.
Yeah, I don't think it's been long enough for the elite to have completely atrophied. I don't think it could have been that long. I think the Celestials had to have left no more than 10 years before this impact.
So, all right, yeah, so they've got a 10-year head start plus the 20 years traveling, so that's 30 years. So the people that are there are probably still alive. But maybe maybe that's a crisis that they're facing. Maybe that is a crisis that they are facing. And
what if they did not plan for how everything is planned for obsolescence? So they didn't think about it when they made it, like when the Celestials pack their whatever with a bunch of robots and AI and whatnot and technology. Technology right now, as it stands, is created with forced obsolescence in mind.
Oh yeah, no. It can't be created with forced obsolescence in mind.
So, but I'm saying if they didn't think about that, because most people don't think about that nowadays, and they made a big that would in fact force them to have to branch out.
What if, they've realized this? They've realized that they didn't quite consider the longevity. They didn't quite consider, the realistic sort of implications of doing this terraforming. Maybe maybe they didn't have enough, or maybe it didn't work. But then the Hitchers appear and they've got an arc.
Wait, are we moving from the idea of the Celestial as the elite that need to be stolen from to the idea of the Celestials needing the help of the Ark?
I'm saying both.
I think it's a both.
I'm saying both.
Yeah, I think it's a two-way street.
Because if the Celestials don't want the Hitchers there, surely they've got the weaponry in order to obliterate them. But they don't want to do that because the Hitchers have the Ark. They've got the Ark with all the sort of DNA material to create animals, and they've got all the seeds to create plant life. And basically help their society thrive. So with that, they've got now a vested interest in controlling the new edition. So
how many people were originally in the Celestials?
I'd say a minority. I'd say a couple of million at the most.
Oh, wow. You were thinking that many? I was thinking like 100.
No, because it's got to be people, there's got to be enough people to actually warrant it, as opposed to just living on a space station.
I was thinking like maybe 1,000 people at most who a bunch of.
Well, how many 1%ers are there across the world right now? I know it's more than 1,000.
There are 60. As of early 2026, there are approximately $60 million millionaires worldwide.
But millionaires are not 1% at this point.
They're technically 10%ers, I think, or like 2%ers.
And when we're talking 1%ers, we're not just talking about money. We're talking about power.
Why don't we just do the simple math? 9 billion people, 1% of 9 billion people.
Oh yeah, that is much simpler.
So 90,000.
Is that what that is?
Yes, I believe so.
I'm going to trust you because I have no idea.
Tell me if I'm right.
I'm on it.
But yeah, there's actually a lot of them. There's not as many as the rest of us, but there are still quite a few of them. And I can't imagine that any of them would enjoy being around each other for any longevity.
90 million.
Wait, oh, right. Sorry, because it's a billion. So I was just off by a thing. But it couldn't have...
So it would be 90 million.
There has to be way less than that, though.
It's okay. This is giving Kingsman. I watch a lot of media. I'm so sorry, y'all. I have references for days.
What is so cool is I consume very little media just because
I like movies.
I love movies. I just I have an issue where I don't know how to spend my time correctly, and so I just don't get to experience the amount of media that other people do. Even though I want to. And but I think it's so cool for that, we're kind of brainstorming these ideas and then you're able to connect them to media and bring in that other thoughts that we didn't have.
In the first Kingsman, the movie that kind of started the series, Samuel L. Jackson's character literally sells tickets to the end of the world. And then he gives everyone in the world free cell phones that actually just have a rage sound in them, and he makes everyone rage out and Hulk out and kill each other, while a bunch of sycophants sit and watch on TVs up in some high stakes mountain whatever. But the point is, only certain class of people could afford to get into that. So the president of the United States, all the world leaders are in there. celebrities who paid their way in. It's a whole mixed bag of people. So like imagine taking everyone who went to the Met Gala and sticking them on a ship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how many people went to the Met Gala?
I have no idea.
I think it's like 5,000.
Yeah, something like that. It's
they called it a small get together.
Okay, so just kind of every time I've said 9 billion, I'm talking about the entirety, the entire population of Earth, right? You got to remember that not all of that population is urbanized.
Yeah. So
mm-hmm.
somebody said, never mind the 1%. Let's talk about the 0.01%, which is, I think, what we're really talking about.
So over 55% of the world's population is considered urbanized and part of modern industrial civilization. So that would be roughly, this is as of 2018, that would be about 4.2 billion people. So if we were to do 1% of that 4.2, it'd still be around 45 million. So if you want to kind of reduce it to the 0.1, let's go with 4.5 million. No. Yeah, because it was 45 million. So let's divide that by 10 again.
Yeah, 450,000.
So we're going with 450,000.
Seems like a much more reasonable number to be sticking on this.
On a ship, who will then create or repopulate. That is the plan. Their plan is to repopulate and to terraform one of the moons of Jupiter. But it doesn't go according... Oh, there's a lot of cousins in there. It doesn't go according to plan. Because they realize that terraforming is going to take a lot longer than they expected.
Especially to what they're probably wanting, which is like all beachfront property bullshit, whatever.
With very limited vegetation, with very limited sort of...
I mean, but that's what they have the kudzu people for. Yeah. Don't forget that they do have the kudzu people.
Yeah, which they can grow.
Can the kudzu people interbreed with humans, out of curiosity?
Oh, what if the kudzu people, the kudzu population got out of control?
Also, the noise that you made, Juan, was adorable.
That
it was like a squeak of joy.
It was, and yeah, I make that noise when I'm on my own and I get ideas for my campaigns. Like,
amazing.
So what? Yeah, but what about it? What about if the idea was to go to one of these moons, right? Populate it, but then because the kudzu itself is invasive and it is hard to manage, it's hard to control. So what if the kudzu population went out of control and they could not stop it? They could not hold it back. So these celestials had to retire. They had to go back to their spaceship. They had to go back to their spaceship to kind of survive and live a seemingly idyllic life. But now the Hitchers have given them a chance.
Okay, so what you're saying is the Celestial Order is now relegated back to the planet. They started terraforming Europa. Now they're relegated back to their spaceship, which they have to keep up while on Europa the kudzu people have taken over.
I think a large subset. I mean, the kudzu people, they're not lacking intelligence, and that's why they were underestimated. So I think a large population of this kudzu people have rebelled. So they've rebelled, and they probably live, whether it's the Celestials going back to their spaceship or whether they find another way to kind of keep them apart from this ever-growing population, as well as keeping their own, like, kudzus, who are probably grown apart from this rebellion side. So effectively, you've got now 3 factions. You've got the Hitchers, you've got the kudzu, which could be a lot more grassroots and a lot more, for want of another word, sort of tribal in nature. And then you've got the Celestials, which are the high technology and it's in their best interest to get the remainder of the population of Earth under control to kind of take Ganymede or Europa back.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they're withholding, because, like, one of the things you said about planned obsolescence, I think, is really interesting, because I think that the elite that left earlier would not have had technology with planned obsolescence. They would have thought about that. But everybody left on Earth still had everything with planned obsolescence, even while they were planning for this thing, because so many people just didn't believe that it was going to work.
Yeah. So you've got the
So now we need their technology.
So yeah, the Hitchers need the technology, whilst the Celestials need the manpower and they need the Ark. So that is why there is a tenuous peace. So it isn't an all-out war. Because effectively, if there was a war, it would be mutually assured destruction.
I mean, I think there's like a Cold War going on.
Exactly. There are movements. There are the Celestials trying to influence the Hitchers. They're paying people off. They're giving, and that's why gangs are created. And that really sort of leads into this sort of cyberpunk-esque world.
Interesting. Okay. So, can we talk a little bit about the factions that would have been created on Earth as it's hurtling through space? Or like new Washington or whatever.
Okay, so the factions that would have been created, I think the factions would have probably been created during the 20-year gap.
Yes, exactly.
Between,
So, like, I think this is where Misfit, especially you, come in. Like, what do you think, like, the different types of mindsets might be of the people who are on this piece of terra firma?
Let's see. Obviously we're going to have the people who are your rules and orders type of people. We're going to, in contrast to that, have our no rules and orders rebel against the system. We're gonna have people who are, devote themselves to the sciences, like medical science, technology, stuff like that. We're gonna have the people who are like biologists and whatnot. So like they would also fall into the science classes, but like whatever. And then we would have, we would still have artists, we would still have philosophers, we would still have free thinkers, we would still have basically everything that we have now, just in hyper condensed.
Zealots.
I feel like there would probably be some sort of religious zealot in there. And they would probably like link up and group into themselves, which would become a problem depending on, who the leader is, because zealotry tends to get a little culty. Which also begs, like, would we have infighting for power? Which would definitely be a thing, because not everyone is going to agree on everything. And now that there is such a spittance of land compared to what people were used to having, people are probably going to start resource wars. So, like, if you look at in the 4 years that World War II happened, how much death there was, and I'm not including the concentration camps and all the horrific things that people were doing to other people in the back end. I still believe that would happen, but I'm more talking about the just soldier on soldier human war zone casualties. Was catastrophic. There was a whole generation of people just wiped off the face of the fucking planet. And that was 4 years. It was only 4 years of fighting. So I do believe that there would immediately be some sort of resource war or resource hoarding, because you cannot remove human psyche from this equation. And human psyches, humans, whether we like to believe it or not, once you have a limited resource, your brain automatically clicks to save, 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 hoard, hoard, hoard. This is mine. I no share unless you're part of my community. And I think that would happen across this pittance of land.
There would be community leaders for sure, but I also think that there would be people who just happened to live in that span of land and just refused to move, but didn't expect anything to happen. And they're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so I mean the project itself would have had to be immense. And it, as much as we're kind of painting this sort of subset as the quote-unquote good guys, in reality, there would have had to be a lot of people
Dark decisions.
There would have had to be
100%.
decisions made, and there would have to be a ruling caste that basically almost militaristic.
And there's also going to be, because there's going to be early adopters. There's going to be the people who had the inside information, who heard about this first and started building, and then the people who started believing it when they're like, look, you can see the asteroid coming for us with your telescope. And then people are like, oh shit. Like, you know, and so like in the last year, like the movement would be extreme, but that also means that in the last year, there's people who are coming who are not prepared. So I think even if you start with 2 billion people, when it breaks off, by the time it gets to Jupiter, it's at least been cut down to 1 billion, if not more.
Yeah, and also this gives us a really good opportunity, so we can now branch off this world into 3. So we can kind of focus on, right, what do the Celestials look like? What is their society now after 20 years? The Kudzu, what is their society now? And also the Hitchers, what would their society look like now? You know, and we have then 3 sort of potential avenues that players can take for their world, for their campaign.
And then even within New Terra, I think they're gonna call it Demi-Earth. I think on Demi-Earth there are going to be different cities that like the artists are going to like end up in one city, like the really militaristic people are going to end up in one city, the really scientific people are going to end up in one city, I imagine. You know, just like we have like some cities have a higher concentration of life sciences, some cities have a higher concentration of like fabric workers, I guess. I don't know what else. I just know life sciences. So I don't know what other industries there are out there. Automotive people.
I actually don't think that we would have automotive industries anymore
No,
if we're living
but,
in such an enclosed space.
Ooh, I think mopeds. I think everyone travels on mopeds now.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
I actually think public transit would have to become the normal. Otherwise, mopeds are great for inner city. I agree with that, but they also produce a crap ton of smog, and they produce the extra dangerous type of smog that will kill you faster than regular car smog will.
So yeah, I think there would be definitely, we do not have resources. We need to kind of conserve. So yeah, public transport would probably be the norm.
And be like hyper efficient like Japan.
I think there would also be people who are specifically their job is to take you from city to city or to take stuff from city to city, and most
Like
people
Sherpas?
stay within their city. Yeah, like Sherpas, but Sherpas with pickup trucks.
Yeah. Yeah, there would still be like lorries. Sorry. Trucks.
Yeah.
And whatnot, and like that would be used for like, oh, we've made this new water filtration system here, we need to bring it to blah blah blah, we need to bring it to Art Basin, they need a new one. So I still think there would be all the same jobs that we have now. Everything would just be kind of like hyper specialized. Like okay, prime example, has anyone watched the 100 or read the books?
I've seen the first episode.
I have not.
Okay, so in the 100, they live on a space station, and they have a general populace, but they teach their kids and they put them through school, and once they start seeing that like certain kids have abilities towards certain things, like one of the main characters, she is an engineer, she's a spacewalking engineer on top of that, so she's actually allowed to go out and walk in space. So like I feel like that's what would start happening. Is we would see people learning and like evolving their skills in certain aspects. But then there was also, you just see throughout the series, there are still people who cook alcohol. There are still people who sell drugs on the black market. There are still people who break the rules all the time. So like as those things would still be happening, it all happened under the arcing government, the reigning body and whatnot.
Yeah. And I think that in itself would create a sort of power vacuum anyway in 20 years, where you have different sort of factions of people wanting to take control of the underworld. And where, because of the very nature...
underworld, the group of people that go and raid the celestial dragons, have they made friends with the Katsu people? Like, what are their connections? How is everyone interconnected? Or does the floating rock, New Earth, whatever, not have the ability to go into space outside of their bubble?
That's why they have the puddle jumpers.
Yeah,
they have the puddle jumpers.
Right. So yeah, are they friends with the Katsu people? Do they regularly raid the 1%ers? Like,
well,
there's got to be a reason why they don't try to colonize the Katsu planet.
Maybe it's just sheer numbers.
I don't think they don't have big enough ships to get people to...
I think this whole thing, the three sort of societies are all sort of on a very sort of tenuous balance of coexistence.
There's also I think there's also the question of how long they are in proximity to each other. So like I think there's going to be things like, these two planets are only in proximity of each other for one day every week or something like that. So like anything, so let's say you're trying to infiltrate the celestial group. If you get there and you miss your one-day mark to get back to Demi-Earth, you have to somehow survive there hidden for 7 days.
I like that. We can call that, they can just refer to that as the window.
Windows closing, boss.
Okay, so so what are we on? What are we talking about? just kind of refresh me, because I think we've spoken about multiple different things. Let's start sort of compiling it, as it were, as a kind of reminder.
So I think the kudzu people it has to be an expansion. I think we have to start with Demi-Earth, the societies on Demi-Earth, and then we can put an expansion out about the celestial group, and then we can put an expansion out for the kudzu people.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So Demi-Earth. So we're dealing with this megacity, or these megacities. And we need to figure out, this is for kind of next time, we need to start figuring out, okay, so how is it ruled? How is order maintained? How does that sort of translate? And then what sort of, because it's cyberpunk, there has to be some sort of level of underworld. What does the underworld rebel against? What are their ideals and ideologies against the whoever is ruling Demi-Earth?
This is so cool. Thank you, Juan, for putting us on this project.
For me, it's one of the most enjoyable aspects, other than the actual playing. But for me, having these times where you sit down and kind of go, right, I need to create, and then the way it just kind of snowballs, you come up with an idea, but then you got to go, why is this happening? And I thoroughly enjoy it. And for people that have never done this before, you guys are coming up with some amazing ideas.
I just have a lot of background knowledge, not just like from medias across the spans, but also from like actual real world stuff. Like I just consume a lot.
Super. I think I love how much you know, and the knowledge that you're pulling from, both from history and from like media. And I love, Juan knows like how to keep things structured and how to think about things, and like the questions to ask. And I just come up with batshit stuff.
But it all goes into the same pot. It all goes into the same pot, and it is having additional eyes on things and having additional sort of points of view where people can kind of go, I'm not sure that'd work. And here's why.
Yeah.
Or have we considered this? These are things that we may need to consider. Because we have, like, in 3 episodes, we have created an already incredibly rich world. Now we're just kind of zeroing in a tiny bit. And we're kind of going, right, okay, so we know the overall. We know there's a tenuous piece between 3 factions, where we've got Demi-Earth, we've got the Kudzu, and we've got the Celestials. Now we're going to focus on one of them. We know why the tenuous piece is there. We know it's essentially avoiding any sort of mutually assured destruction. But now let's focus on Demi-Earth. Let's focus on that, and that's what we can do sort of next week, and we can start sort of kind of going, right, let's come up with a faction.
Awesome.
What do they do? What do they need? Is it entirely anarchic? Is it partially? Or is it an anarchic underworld with a sort of a sort of government in place? But what does that government look like? Is it a dictatorship? Is it democracy? Is it a meritocracy? Is it? And those are the questions we need to ask. And I think we are creating something quite special here.
I hope so.
If there's any writers out there that want to help us put together a world doc, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Not me. Don't ask the dyslexic
Let
to
us
do
know.
that.
We'll bring you in.
Yeah, I mean, I am thinking, I use Foundry for most of my sort of world keeping sort of thing, because it, there is an add-on called Campaign. It'll come to me. It is basically, it helps you with the world building, and I'm thinking maybe creating that for us, where we can start adding in these bits. If not, we can always come up with another solution, but because I'm paying for Foundry, I might as well use it.
You might as well use it, yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
So yeah, so what I'll do is I'll get it set up.
Because this sounds like a really cool Starfinder setting.
Starfinder. I mean, we initially said setting agnostic, so then you can use it for
Yeah, you could like
Game
literally use it
agnostic,
for
yeah.
everything. You could use
Yeah.
it for Starfinder. You could use it for its Cipher system. You could use it for like
Yeah.
Ooh, Cipher system would be good.
Cipher system would be a good one for this.
Yeah.
I think at some point we're gonna get a bit further in and just kind of go.
That's it. You're gonna have to run it for us. I'm gonna play a Kutsu person.
There you go. We've already got one player. But yeah, we could actually do something with this. Whether it's I'm familiar with Savage Worlds over Cypher. But yeah, I could do it in Savage Worlds. But you could even make a sort, especially if you're doing the sort of city aspect of it, you could also do like a hack of VTM for it.
Yeah, for sure. You could use the storyteller system for it.
So I think this definitely has legs, and I think we actually need to start formalizing it a tiny bit. Maybe I might start with a dedicated Trello board where we've all got access and we can start adding shit.
That'd be cool.
All right. Okay, so I think that's about it for tonight.
High fives all around.
So high fives. So just so I'm clear, I'm asking you this. Would you like to tell people about things that you're working on and where they can find you on the internet?
I went first last time.
Oh, okay, fine.
Fair point.
The big thing that we have going on is Rat City by Night on Game Master Monday is coming out. It's a 6-part series about rats and rat pyres. And I think beyond that, I don't know. Follow me, Zoot Machine. Sometimes I come up with silly ideas on threads, and sometimes I'm in stuff, which, one day I'll get better at sharing.
All right. Misfit.
Hi, Misfit _ Playland, literally everywhere. The big thing that I have going on right now, follow my socials to stay in touch with all of them because I'm in a lot. I'm going to have Fallout coming out soon. I've got Chicago by Night coming out soon, both on the old ways. We're just about done with season 1 for Vampire with No Name over at Dubious Creatures. We have a whole Q&A form that you can fill out, ask us all the dirty questions. We love that shit. And we will be doing a Q&A session for that for season 1. It should be a lot of fun. Absolutely nobody has guessed the phrase.
Nope.
Not a single fucking person. So I'm just going to go and tell everybody. The phrase that literally makes me turn into a feral fucking person is, but we're not savages. Yes, the fuck you are. Yes, you are. You're fucking savages. You all.
Yes, and we can see that.
But yeah, that's kind of what I got. I've got other projects out there. Just follow me. It's easier to keep up that way.
All right, so if you've liked what we're doing and you kind of want to keep an eye on us, then, subscribe to the channel and give us a like. Tell your friends about us. Just help us grow and let's keep the lights on here. I want to say a huge thank you to Dungeon Maestro for the use of our theme tune, all that jazz. Check them out on their YouTube channel. They're absolutely amazing. I want to say thank you to my wonderful co-hosts. It is always great to get together and brainstorm these ideas. And most importantly of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's taken time out of their busy day to listen to us waffling on about tabletop role-playing games. Thank you very much. Good night.
Bye.